everybody. This is your host, Huge Pop, from the Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. On the guest tonight on this episode of Between the Ropes on the Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. This guy's from a place you wouldn't understand at a weight you can't comprehend. He goes from continuity to search out opportunities and big gold shiny belts. He started at wrestling in SoCal 2009, worked his way through until 2015 when he moved to Michigan, go blue. Wrestled there and then moved to Florida in 2022. Please give a huge pop welcome to El Ridiculoso.
We got this. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir, for coming on the show. I appreciate your excitement. And again, Jose says, El Ridiculoso, welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jose.
Thanks, Jose. Jalapeno. Never mind. That's a bad joke. Bad joke. So man, everybody seems to be, if you're in a wrestling business or whatever, you had to be a fan when you grew up. So what was it like as a fan?
For me, my cousins got me into professional wrestling. I'm a man of a certain age, so I kind of grew up in the 90s. So they introduced me to, I was about 9 years old, yeah. It was like around 1996. I became a fan. I saw Kevin Nash power bomb somebody through a table, and I saw Six get on top of a ladder and start talking crap. And I was like, "That's a thing you can do in life." And I was kind of hooked. I'd seen wrestling before then when I was like 7, 8, 9, but it was mostly just like Vader's entrance or Psycho Sid's pyro. I didn't really become like. I needed to know everything about wrestling until like 1996, and then it overwhelmed my life.
Awesome, man. So, are you still a fan?
Yeah, man. I love wrestling. I love everything about wrestling. I love the atmosphere. I like the TV programmings. I like the epic matches. I like wrestling myself. I love wrestling. I love big old shiny belts and getting in there. I've had some great chances in wrestling and opportunities. I met my wife through wrestling. So yeah, I'm still a fan of wrestling. It's very, I love it. It's awesome, man. It's literally all forms of entertainment wrapped up in like a little ball and packaged. It's a big buffet menu. Some people like fried chicken. Some people like mashed potatoes. Some people like the dessert section. Some people over there at the salad bar, love pro wrestling. It's all flavors.
You got that right. It is all flavors. You got lucha. You got hardcore. You got ladder matches. You got championship. You got women. Yeah, it's all kinds of, like you said, a buffet, man. There you go. What a good definition of what wrestling is. So, how did you choose the school and the trainers, and what inspired you to finally get into that business, like to take that jump to start training school?
Craziness, actually. I was 22. It was 2009. I had just finished a year of college, and I had just moved across country. I'm from Michigan, and I moved out to California when I was like 19. Went to school for a couple of years out there, and then I could either have like gone back for a semester or could have started wrestling. So I was 22, and I did. My theory in life was kind of like, you don't want to really be wondering what if. What if you would have asked that one lady to prom? What if you would have not gone into that 7-Eleven one night and you would have just gone home? Things are full of like what ifs. So like I didn't want to regret that. So I didn't want to wish I had, gone home and not gone to 7-Eleven type scenario analogy. So I was moved across country. It was Southern California. I had a friend of mine whose mom used to work packaging DVDs with this one guy in Southern California who ran his own wrestling company. So his name is Bart. He was awesome. Very nice guy. I was 22, so I started going to like these indie shows in SoCal, and the guy also ran a store out of a collectibles shop, and then it was across the street, and he's now back in the collectibles shop because he's still running that store to this day. But he had moved into across the street, and he sold old wrestling DVDs. So this is the era before the internet. Or well,
Okay.
I mean, not before the internet. I'm sorry, not that day. I mean, the internet was there, but the streaming services. This is the era before. I mean, Netflix was still selling DVDs. You know what I'm saying? This is like that time frame. So he had all these bootleg wrestling DVDs of like old VHS tapes that he burnt over to DVD, old DVDs themselves. And he sold GI Joes and Star Wars and wrestling stuff. It was like a little nerd sanctuary place, you know. Uh, and I was driving out there like at least once or twice a week, sometimes more, honestly. And I was spending like $40 a pop on like old DVDs, you know, like DVDs that like it was before streaming, so I wanted to watch like there was like there was old Nitros and there was like old Raws and old like I mean you know older now than they were then, but you know that era of ilk old DVDs that you can't find. And I grew up on the lower end of the income spectrum, so there's a lot of things I didn't get to see that I wanted to see, and I got like obsessed with wrestling and stuff. So we're spending all that money there. Started talking to the guy because I was in his store a lot, and he was like, he ran indie shows, and he wanted to, and I was like, hey man, let me get a flyer, you know. And we started going to these indie shows, and I was at the guy's shop one day buying DVDs. And I was like, what do you got to do to really be a part of this chicanery, shenanigans, craziness of the professional wrestling world?
Yes.
And he said, give me money. I'm just kidding. That's not what he said. He told me like, hey, I run shows. I run a wrestling school as well. You can join my wrestling school. And I didn't really think twice about it, honestly. I did a little bit of research, seeing like making sure it wasn't just like some dude, but I'd already been to his shows quite a few times, so I already kind of knew that it was a legit thing. Um, the original trainer was a guy named Johnny Paradise. Not the one you're thinking of if you're in a certain town. The SoCal one, not the Michigan one.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the trainer at the time. Before that, it was the Adam Pierce. So it was the Alternative Wrestling Show was the name of the company, and that was like the school. And it was like Johnny Paradise was the trainer at the time. The Ballard brothers were trainers there as well. Uh, uh, Young Bucks one time were trainer there. TJ Perkins was one time a trainer there. Like there was a lot of cool things because it was SoCal, man. It was SoCal in 2009. It was a lot of like look up a PWG from 2009 and like all those guys, that area, that place, that's where it was. So yeah, I started training there. I was training 2 days a week at the time, maybe 3 days a week.
Right.
And then his school shut down, and the Ballard brothers had a school that was running out of the place too. So I started training with them, and then they had some family sadness go on.
Okay.
This very lovely gentleman, a true legend. He is no longer with us. A man named John Ian. He ran a wrestling school also there, the Mach 1 wrestling school at the time. One trainer, we don't say his name, but there was another trainer named, at the time known as Johnny Goodtime. Now he's Kevin Martinson from Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Yeah, he was the trainer there. That was really cool. That was a lot of fun, very educational. This is all the same area of like the Santino brothers. So I would do drop-ins there over there. And then Brian Kendrick started a school out there right around the time that the Mach 1 school closed. So I started training with Brian Kendrick. I was there for about 3 years with him. And then I moved to Detroit. And that was where I had to do a little bit more research. Because when I started in California, it was just kind of one bled into the other because I just met people and asked questions and do. And then moving across country, I had to do more research on that one.
Gotcha.
Wasn't 100% on everything on that one, so I had to do more research. But you Google professional wrestling and then Michigan, you're gonna get Truth Martini as a wrestling school. That is the place to go to. He is the man. There's not anybody in Detroit that doesn't go through that place. You can get your basics done anywhere elsewhere. You get them refined from Truth Martini. I always say SoCal taught me how to have a match and how to wrestle, but Truth Martini taught me how to work. That training class, Alex Shelley, the names that came out of that place, like Motor City Machine Guns. You got Juice Robinson, Danhausen, all these names that came out of that place. So that Truth Martini is a genius. So that school, that structure, that was awesome. I was there for the entire time I was in Michigan. I was the guy that never left the school.
Okay.
Which, if you are starting wrestling, sorry, I'm babbling, but I'm going with this.
You're good. You're good.
If you're gonna be in pro wrestling at that level, if you got that time, you got that money, and you can make that commitment, and you can I mean, it's not even money. If you can make that schedule work, because it's a schedule. Like at one point, I was training 4 days a week, wrestling 2. So that, that's 6 days a week. I was involved in wrestling at one point in time. It's a commitment. You got to be willing to do things to get things out of it. You're gonna get out what you put in. So the head goes where the body follows. Or the body follows where the head goes. Boom. Yeah. Fucking Truth Martini School, man. So I got distracted. Sorry for swearing.
That's all right, man.
But,
bring it. Bring it.
Truth Martini School, phenomenal. I was just a dude that never left the school. Ended up helping assist in some classes that way, just by being somebody that he trusted. On days he wasn't there. So it was very, very cool format. Ignited a very deep passion in me that kept it going, kept it fueled. Because at that point, I'd been wrestling almost 10 years at that point. Like I was thinking it was about 8 years wrestling before I started training at Truth Martini School. And then I was out in Michigan since 2005, from 2005 to 2022. So yes, like 7 years. I was in Michigan, and I just never left that guy's school. I was always there. So you're gonna very nice, and it wasn't by choice. Like I was still wrestling shows and all this stuff, and it makes like I was just training that whole time.
Right.
But yeah, sorry, I went off on a tangent about pro wrestling and how long I was doing it for and places to go. You asked me about just looking into schools, and I went on to a whole little thing there. But
you're good. You're good.
Do your research. All I can say is Google is a wonderful tool if you are a guy thinking about getting into the business. Because when I came to Florida and I was looking for wrestling schools, the very first thing that popped up when I said the town I'm in and wrestling schools turns out is run by a known and documented predator. So as a father, I'm not going to go anywhere near that guy's school. I'm not even going to mention the guy's name, but if you're in this area, you know who I'm talking about. And I wouldn't take my kid near that place, So, Florida, you type in wrestling schools, you got some great ones, but you got some ones to avoid, Just saying.
Now you're down in the Orlando area, the middle of the state.
Hey, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep. I talk to those guys down there all the time, so I know what you're talking about. Yep.
The one guy that has like 3 YouTube hour-long documentaries talking about him and stuff. Yeah, that guy is the guy closest to where I'm at in Florida, and I ain't going near there.
Right. Nice. Yeah, but I was shocked to see how many wrestling promotions were in the state of Florida.
No, but you got if you're looking for training schools down in Florida, though, you got so many. But House of Champions, Jamie Stanley's school, I've seen nothing but quality people come from there. The CCW school, nothing but nice guys come out of those ones that I've seen. There's a lot of schools down here, though. You got like Flatbacks, you got Devon's Academy, the Heart Dungeon. There's a lot of places down here in Florida.
Absolutely. So do you still stay in contact with the guy up from Michigan? And does he
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
So in the business of wrestling, independent wrestling, what is the most challenging part to be on the independent circuit?
Challenging part, what does that mean? Getting your name out there. It's not, and what I find to be the easy thing to do is the thing that other people refuse to do, which is promoting the show you're on. Like you want people to be where you're at, right? You don't want to just wrestle in front of 40 some people, even if you don't know who's seeing your stuff. It's the internet, Right. So promoting the show, I find people have a hard time with down here. I don't see why, but wrestling's awesome. Look what I'm doing right now. This isn't how I normally talk. This is great. I love pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Promos are awesome. Do promos for the show you're on, people. Like, come on. Let people know you're going to be there. That way they can come buy your t-shirt. And if you don't have a t-shirt, they can at least come say hi to you. So when you do have a t-shirt, they're going to come buy it, promote. Like right now, promoting February 21st, Space Coast Convention Center. One of the biggest shows in all of Florida is going to happen. ALW, 8-year anniversary event. We're going to have Big Daddy Cool, Big Sexy Kevin Nash. We're going to have the Olympic gold medalist, Hall of Famer Kurt Angle. You know what I'm saying? Like, promote yourselves, people. That's what you got to do. And the hard thing about shows, or the hard thing about independent pro wrestling is being sure that you're able to understand the opportunity in front of you, because the long-term connection of everything, how things are all circular, how everything's interconnected, the oneness of life, all that good stuff. Promote yourself so that you can get booked on other shows. Getting bookings is hard. It ain't easy. There's a lot of pro wrestling out there. And there's a lot of people who are buddies with each other. And it's hard. You got to make yourself a commodity. You got to show you work hard. You got to make sure that you're doing your due diligence, man. It's just like any job. You work at a McDonald's. A guy comes in one day and like showed up 15 minutes late for his shift with his pants undone and stuff. Like, come on, man. We got this. We can do better. We are better. This is 2025, man. We're living in the fucking future. George Jetson's 3 years old. Like, come on. We got this.
We got this. So you mentioned
again, tangents. I sidetracked. I went on a little bit of a thing there. I apologize, but also not sorry, really. But wrestling's hard.
Treg says, "We got this." This must be. So I'm new to ALW. So is "We got this" your catchphrase, right?
Yeah. No, we got this. I mean, some people call it a catchphrase. I say it's just a fact, because we got this, man. You got this. You wake up every day, you got 2 feet underneath you, you're on this side of the dirt. Right. You got this. Because each and every day is nothing but an opportunity. And we all got this. Pull it together. We do it together. We'll get it together, and the world will be better. So we got this.
I'm going to steal that because my New Year's resolution was focus. So I'm going to tell focus, we got this. No problem.
Good. Nah, see, that's my problem, is focus. Because I'm kind of everywhere. But see, that's the thing, is I exist outside of continuity, so I'm seeing all the continuity at one freaking time. So it's hard to place yourself in the right moments in that time frame, because it's all about big gold shiny belts. So wherever I'm at is where I'm supposed to be at the moment to get the big gold shiny belt in the long run. So if I lose, it's because I was supposed to.
So I'm going to take a moment. Everybody, Jose, Zach, Jose, Jack, Treg, Lonely Girl, hit that follow button on that YouTube channel. Help! I'm promoting myself. We got this, right? We're gonna crank up those numbers on the YouTube channel.
Yes, get this guy some views. Look at the production value this guy's got going on. There's logos. There's a whole little entrance video opening packaging thing. This ain't we got this. Let's get this guy some views, y'all. Yes. Hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe, we want more Ridiculoso in the comment section, and buy your tickets on Eventbrite for February 21st at the Space Coast Convention Center for ALW 8-year anniversary. The Prophecy, not the one with Christopher Walken, but the one with Kevin Nash, Kurt Angle, Nick effing Gage, and El Ridiculoso. That is a main event lineup. Those words in that sentence is a factual thing that you're going to get to come see. Because what is life? How is that real? I don't know, but I'm not going to hesitate to take the picture. You shouldn't either. El Ridiculoso, we got this.
Now I'm going to have you cut a promo near the end of it, because I want to hear what you have to say about your 3 opponents in that hardcore match. So we're going to talk about that hardcore match.
Is it 3 or what? Did we get cards subject to change? I don't know. I'm not sure of the facts. But it may no longer be a money-making day. I don't know.
All right. We'll see. So, what's been the most memorable match you've been through, man?
According to YouTube, it would be my match with Chuck Stein. Because that one has like a very high number of views.
Okay.
The most memorable match
for you,
man. That's a hard one, because a lot of cool things have happened in pro wrestling. I off the top of my head, the first one that I can think of was my first time winning a singles championship.
Okay.
Because, like, I mean, look at me, you know, and it's let's baby face this a little bit. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about winning the championships and stuff. I'm a guy that has been told quite often in life that you're not good enough, man. Like you don't got the right look. You don't got the right ab definement. You don't have the right income bracket. You don't have the right amount of free time. You don't have the look. I don't get it. What is a ridiculoso? These are all things I've been told quite a lot over time. So every single time that a promoter in my lifetime has given me the opportunity to win those big gold shiny belts, and I've gotten to hold them because of my sheer awesome talent and ability to pro wrestle. Using the ancient art of professional wrestling as a craft, I've defeated many sound opponents for big gold shiny belts, and that's awesome because if you've ever been told that you're not good enough, that you're not going to do well at this, and then you've gotten to say, really, because I got this, and that's awesome, in a
Right.
little bit of a nice, hey man, I can and I did. So the very first time I got to win a championship was the AWS, the Alternative Wrestling Show Light Heavyweight Championship of a man named Cinderin in 2013 in the town of Southgate, California, uh, at an American Legion post.
Okay.
That was awesome. That was very memorable to me for numerous reasons. One, it was AWS. It was my home promotion. It was a man I trained with often at the time, Cinderin. He was in our training class. It was myself. It was Cinderin. There was Peter Avalon was there. There's a lot of other people that are no longer professional wrestling were also in there. Dragon Mask, he was in the class too. Biggie Biggs, he still wrestles. He's my former tag team partner. Me and him won championship gold as well. First tag team titles, me and him won. And that was very memorable too. I'm not discrediting that by any means, but it was a tag team, and I feel like we worked together. But I feel like it rang awesome. But when your first singles rings a little bit different because at the end of the day, the tag team, they could always be like, well, yeah, but the other guy, you know. But if you've ever been in a tag team with me, I've learned a great many things from you, and that's why I'm really good at tag team wrestling. Is because the tag team partners I've had and the trainers I've had have taught me a lot about tag team wrestling. So those championships means awesome because it's a team effort. But when they trust you with just the one, you're like, oh man, it's a little bit special, especially the AWS Lightweight Championships. How I like Scorpio Sky, Scott Loss, Johnny Paradise, a lot of PWG guys, Ronan, a lot of dudes, that title. Peter Avalon himself held it, So that one was very big and important. Another one off the top of my head that was super memorable was winning the lightweight championship for XICW in Detroit in Cobo freaking Hall, where Hulk Hogan murdered the Giant. Let's never forget that. I won the lightweight championship in there for XICW. That was also super memorable because that, the year before when we ran Cobo, I was in a pre-show 6-man tag. A year later, I was the winning lightweight champion. So my time in Detroit was amazing because that was the hey man, you said I couldn't do it, but I did it. Ha 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 things. So good time. Another super memorable one. As I may take another short tangent, I do apologize. Was winning the XICW Proving Ground competition because that was a legitimate competition of like an America's Got Talent type. We were judged. I was the captain of a 6-man team, and you won your lost your matches. That was okay. It wasn't about if you win or lose. It's about how you played the game, type deal. And it was judged, and there was like a fan judging. There was like a crowd reaction judging, and then the panelists judging. And these are guys, your peers at the time, some Detroit legends up there. Like Johnny Bravo was a judge at one point. Bunch of Team Canada people, stuff like that. Rhino, DBA with judging at one point. Jamie Cox, all these people were up there. That was awesome because that was a they it was literally like, hey man, I am good at this type stuff. So we that was super memorable because that was a very cool award.
Talk to us about the PWSD Cruiserweight Championship.
PWAS, Pro Wrestling All Stars. Oh yeah, my Cruiser Core title. I held that thing for a very long amount of time, over 3 reigns. So the Pro Wrestling All Stars, and all these companies I've wrestled for. A big gold shiny belts. That's the ultimate goal in competition. Pro Wrestling All Stars, my tag team run there with the Mysterious Movado, winning the tag team titles there. That was awesome. The Cruiser Core thing was also awesome because the dude that I beat for it was very, very upset that night about losing to me. He very much did not like that about his self. That Ridiculoso won the lightweight champion or the Cruiser Core championship from him. He was quite upset about that. So that was also, now you mentioned, that was pretty memorable as well. That guy was yeah, he didn't like that.
I thought so. I did my research. I seen that you didn't mention that one, so I thought I better bring that up.
Yeah, no, Steven Rivera, he's awesome, dude. Pro Wrestling All Stars. They don't run as consistently now. Now they just only mostly do like fair shows and stuff. Because but awesome time. Missed that belt too. That's a beautiful looking championship. When you go and look at it, that's probably one of my favorite titles that I've ever held, just by its sheer look and design. It's awesome. It has like a road, like Detroit road signs and stuff on it. It's pretty cool. It's a cool looking belt.
Nice. So you mentioned Cobo Hall. That is a historical place in Detroit.
It's where Hulk Hogan murdered the Giant.
That's right. That's where the Red Wings, I think, won a championship. Whatever. But
it's where Santino Marella and James E. Cornette tried to get into a fight.
There you go.
My wife was in the lobby and watched it happen. I was on the roof. I was on the roof. I was investigating the crime scene. Where Hulk, but my wife was in the lobby and watched that whole thing happen.
That's awesome, man.
My 2 tag team former stablemates were the ones that escorted them out of the building.
Nice. So tell me, your favorite venue to wrestle at, and tell me, is there a certain city you love to wrestle
in? Favorite venue's hard, man. I've been in some I'm weird. So they call me odd because I just can't even on some things, you know. Okay. My favorite venues are like the ones that people hate, you know. I've gotten to I've Masonic Temple in Detroit. I've got to wrestle there. I've had some great opportunities in some great many buildings and some great ones coming up as well. Can't really spill the beans on that one, but if you're in Florida, some big things are about to happen and some big venues are about to be atomic, you know, and ridiculous at the same time. But my favorite buildings have always been like the crap ones, like the bars, the dressing room that's only the fire exit. The ones I didn't like the most are like the occasions where like you have to go change in the ring truck and then come out. Like I got to wrestle at Warped Tour one year and we didn't have a locker room. We had to change in the truck and it was kind of, that was funny to me, you know. But the Ritz in Detroit, that's not there anymore. The Hot Rock at one point in Detroit, that's not there anymore. They turned it into a dispensary. But that was a great hole in the wall building. The Rubik's here in Florida, everyone hated it. Everyone hated it so much. But I thought it was such a weird little random shot. It looked like WWF In Your House, where they all had like weird backgrounds. Yep. Yeah, that was such a crappy build, but I thought it was awesome. What was the name of it? I don't want to say the aquarium, but it wasn't the aquarium. It was where Pro Wrestling All Stars ran out of. So if you guys know it, you know it. But all the walls were painted to look like you're in the water because it was like a little kind of like a discount Chuck E. Cheese.
I watched your match against Jamie Stanley, I think a little while ago. You guys
that was another little that was actually at the Melbourne Community Center. It was during a Comic-Con.
Okay.
So they put us in normally, because we ran that venue before, normally they put us in the gym It was big view, awesome little venue. But that was where the Comic-Con was happening. So they put us in this little side room, but it was a sheer of the moment, random thing. It was an advertising promo more than anything else. But that was awesome too. But no, man, I've gotten to wrestle in some really cool places. Trying to pick just one. I got to wrestle in St. Andrews Hall. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie 8 Mile with the Oscar-winning actor Eminem. He won an Oscar. Look it up. That venue where he was puking mom's spaghetti. That was the locker room I got to use.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a cool venue. That was awesome too. There was thank you, Movado. But yeah, man, some great venues. It's hard to pick, but the ones that stick out in my head when you mention that stuff are just the weird ones. Like I started wrestling at the Frankenstein's where we wrestled at in the City of Industry. That was the name of it. It's called the City of Industry. It's not called Industry. It's called the City of Industry, which I always thought was funny. But yeah, that was originally he ran his shows in the parking lot of the place that he had the store at. So I don't know. Weird things that like I've wrestled in motels, they're nice fancy hotels and stuff like that. Like picking out my favorite is hard, but there are some that when you say that stick out to my head, and it's always the really small rinky dink ones.
Okay, that's fair. So brotherhood and paying it back. Do you think big about that? Is that huge in the business of wrestling with you guys?
Giving back, yeah, man. That's I mentioned John Ian when I was talking about places that I trained at, and that guy gave me a chance at a time. Like both the wrestling schools I trained at had shut down, and I had just started. I started as a referee, so I was just reffing shows, and he was using me as a referee when I was maybe 2-3 months into training. Same with Bart; he was using me as a referee when I was just 2-3 months into training, which was phenomenal experience. I got to be in some awesome matches and stuff, which was really cool. Johnny was a very cool man. I got to ref some awesome matches for him. I got to be in some awesome things. Same with Bart Kapitsky also took great care of me. That's who broke me in originally. But Johnny, and when the other schools shut down, when everybody left town and stuff, he let me come train there, and he just let me come train there. At the time, I was, I'm not a rich man, and I never have been. I've always been on that lower end of the income bracket and stuff. Effing broke, some would say. He let me learn from him, and that was awesome because it gave me some. Wrestling's weird, right? So sometimes people don't show up to training class when they should, and you're the only one that does sometimes, or maybe one other guy. And so there was a time where I just showed up to class and only one other guy did, and that was the day that TJ Perkins came to be the guest speaker.
Okay.
No one knew. He just randomly showed up on a Tuesday, Nice. So I got to have like a 5-6 hour private training session, and that's happened a lot in my career, just being in the right place at the right time and stuff like that. But yeah, Johnny let me do that. That was cool. The Truth Martini, bro, same idea. They gave me a chance, let me come again. I got to be there just by always showing up on the right days. And maybe there's a legendary tag team that is coming back from injury that need to run some spots. They need to have someone to bounce off of, and it's in Detroit, which is kind of known as the Motor City. And these guys are pretty like rapid paced. Some would say they hit you like a machine gun, and sometimes you just show up, and these Murder City rapid machine gun type wrestlers are there, and they say, hey man, we were watching you bump and you did a good job. Would you mind taking some of this stuff? And then you get like a little private training session for a little bit with two now the world is just seeing what wrestling fans have known for the better part of 20 years. Just by being there that one day. Or maybe there's another guy that was formerly the head of creative for a couple of the major wrestling companies, and maybe he's good friends with the trainer or an owner of the school. Then maybe you just show up one day. Maybe he just happens to be there, and then He's running character development stuff with you and teaching you how to cut a right promo. So you're not just standing there awkwardly in front of the camera, nervous, not realizing that how are you afraid to talk when you're literally standing there in your underwear? Like, uh, uh, what's the worst thing? They ain't gonna bite you. You're already naked. Yeah. Anyway, so just saying, I lost track of the question.
Just favorite venue and
Yeah.
So
that turned into a very high side note. But
and
yes,
you named a lot of Motor City Machine Guns, man. You had opportunity after opportunity to be with these guys, and because you just are focused and committed to what you're doing, and so I see that in you. I see that you're on the right track, and you want to work and you want to do that. And I was doing some research, and I'm just gonna play a game called Big Name Drop, and so I'm gonna see these names that I know that you had some things to go with. Just quickly, if you can, respond to the name.
We got this.
Shark Boy.
What was it? I'm sorry.
Shark Boy.
Shark Boy. Yes. Former tag team adversary and partner. Very, very, very fun. Finn and awesome, if you will. Shell, yeah, man. He was fun. Yeah. He character development stuff, man. That's a guy I've been a fan of for the longest time. I'm a man of a certain age. And there was a point in time where wrestling was really hard to watch. And then you find the right company, you find the right people, and then you got this dude. And then, you got this guy. And it's just freaking ridiculous, man. The guy's a shark who's also a boy. Or he's a boy who's also a shark. Who knows? But he was fun. I miss that guy. Bring him back. Let's do it again. Run it back.
Gangrel.
I beat him.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, I won. I retained the UCW Heavyweight Championship of the UCW world, that universe, that continuity. I dominated. I missed that place. I want to dominate y'all again. I was awesome. Bring me back. We went back my titles, man. I was that long, fun times. But yeah, I got to wrestle the Gangrel. I survived. He did not murder me, as you'd think a vampire would. And no, I won.
Suicide.
I beat that too. I don't think you might get demonetized if you say that as his name. But yeah, I beat him. I beat him. That's because I learned how to do that, how to beat him, and it turns out it's just sheer luck. It's just sheer. Sometimes you just get sometimes they get overconfident and they slip up, and then you just got to be there to find the right opportunity. That's all it takes. It just takes one little opportunity, and you get that 1, 2, 3. Like if my name makes you laugh and it throws you off balance, and boom, I won, and then you got to deal with the fact that you lost. But yes, suicidal guy. I don't want to get you demonetized, man.
Tommy Dreamer and Tony Lovato.
Tommy Dreamer, the funniest thing about that to me, we main evented a pay-per-view as opponents. We turned into tag team partners at the end of it. The funniest thing about that to me was the fact that the event had to get completely changed the moment we showed up to the building because we weren't allowed to have fans in the building. That was a funny day. But the pay-per-view is available, I think, still. Maybe they might have taken it down by now because changed management over there. But the shenanigans caused me the match to end when I should have beat him. I was this close. But shenanigans occurred because, shenanigans. I hate them sometimes, but, it's okay. This dude who thinks he's a living Halloween character and his, at the time, protege, now the guy's holding my big gold shiny belt out there in the UCW, but they came out and they spoiled the fun. It was going to be a good time. But Tommy Dreamer learned a lot from him. Very nice gentleman, because after they came out and ruined the match, he was like, hey, man, do you want to just beat these guys up with me? And I said, dude, we got this. And then there you go. So, yeah, Tommy Dreamer, good guy. Hey, man, if you're hiring.
That's right. Tommy Dreamer, If you want a ridiculous guy, hire this guy, man. Bring him back. You got this. Willie Mack.
Dude, that was the first drop kick I ever took in the business.
Okay.
So Willie Mack, SoCal vibes. That man, yeah, it was like day 3 of training, and he, you're just there, so you don't know who shows up to these places. And he was there, and this is 2009, Willie Mack, and I turned around. He's like, hit the ropes, and I hit the ropes, and I turned around, and boom, drop kick, sent me out of the ring. Literally sent me out of the ring. First drop kick I ever took in pro wrestling, and it had me outside on the ground instantly by sheer force. It just sent me that way, man. So yeah, Willie Mack's awesome. He's a guy that I got to take car. He was one of the guys that's like, hey man, get in the car. He took me on. We went from SoCal to Vegas, and we got to do road trips together, man. Very nice guy. I consider him a friend in pro wrestling because yeah, he's a good dude, man. I'm getting teary-eyed, misty-eyed because I know that I'm gonna get to see Willie this coming March when JCW Juggalo Championship Wrestling is going to come and try and bring the fight to ALW on March 28th. And Willie Mack, I know, is going to be there representing the Juggalos. And as a guy from Detroit, I'm kind of a man of two worlds on this because, I'm a fan and Willie Mack's a friend. But also, y'all are coming onto my turf. Like, ALW is my home now, and y'all are going to come here like that. So it's gonna be very nice getting to see Willie. It's gonna be very bad if I have to fight him.
All right. Scorpio Sky.
Educational. I don't know if I'm just gonna do word association now. But educational. Learned a lot from that guy, especially because I was I was very much in the throes of training at that point. I was probably doing 3-4 days a week of training. Another guy, he just showed up sometimes to the school. He also trained people at the time, or he had just stopped training people, one of the two. But so he was a great teacher. Very nice guy. My time in SoCal didn't end in the best way, just personally. Wrestling wise, it was great, but personally, it didn't end in the best way. And Scorpio was a dude that actually gave me a call during all that. So was Willie, actually, as a matter of fact, and Brian Kendrick. But yeah, Scorpio gave me a call during all that, so that was very nice of him. I haven't talked to him in years, but he was very, very nice to me. He made me laugh as a referee one time because he said something funny to me while I was trying to keep him in the corner during a tag team match, and it just stuck with me ever since. Which it's always very funny.
I have 2 more. I'm looking at your Facebook page, but I have this on my notes. Big Bill, FKA Big Cass. What was that like?
He chokeslammed me out of the ring in the Impact. Now formerly TNA turned to Impact. You're currently TNA again. Yeah, that was really cool. The opportunity itself was awesome because I just moved to Florida the day before. Literally the day before. I drove all night to get to Florida, and Johnny Bravo was like, "Hey man, we're in Florida if you want to come and help out." And I was like, yes, please. I literally am driving there right now. So that was cool. That was just another great opportunity of being one. You got to put yourself in the right positions to be in the right spots at the right time when these opportunities occur. Because it turned out some people didn't show up to the show and they needed people to fill in a spot. And there was a bunch of us that had been helping out in the ring all day. The CCW crew and myself, and they gave us a really big opportunity to try and beat Big Cass. They're like, "Hey man, this is Big Bill, William H. Morrissey over here, and he wants to beat somebody up today, and the guys didn't show up that he was supposed to. Would you all like to try and beat Big Bill? We're the learning tree, and we like to try." But that's the ironic thing about it all, because at the time it was Kurt Hawkins that was running he was running a learning tree similar scenario in Impact, and he brought us in to try and help him beat William W. Morrissey there, and it didn't work out the best. I tried, I hit him, and he was big. When they say big, he's big. What was really cool about that is I had met him at a time in Detroit before at a one and done wrestling show, and he remembered me from it, which was cool. But then he chokeslammed me out of the ring, which wasn't as cool.
Right, not as cool at all. So I have some people that sent me some questions for you. I gotta find it here. I want to give these guys respect. One guy by the name of Jeff Engelman. He says to me, he says, "Nice to meet you. El Ridiculoso is a great dude. I would be interested in knowing how he is preparing both physically and mentally to go into his upcoming hardcore match with two icons like Tony Devato and Nick Gage."
Yeah, Tony DeVito, bro.
DeVito, sorry.
That I don't know how profane we're allowed to get, but you already mentioned the KMS guy, so maybe I'm allowed to say some things.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, man. Let's get into this. Let's get into February 21st. Let's get into the Space Coast Convention Center. Let's get into my hardcore freaking championship. So I'm on this new thing, right? Like I'm old now. Like my birthday's coming up. I'm an old man now. So I'm looking at life and I'm thinking, man, I got this, right? Right? You know, Detroit, we're Detroit tough, right? Right. SoCal, that place is on fire a lot. I've been through some stuff. I've broken 27 bones in my lifetime. You know, that's a lot of bones in the body to have been broken, you know? And I'm thinking that shit hurt, right? Right? But wrestling hurts. And I've been doing that for like 16 years. 16 years I've been pro wrestling, right? 16 freaking years. Like my pro wrestling career has its learner's permit right now. Like it's able to drive at night just without not without adult supervision. You know what I'm saying? So El Ridiculoso wins the hardcore championship. And then El Ridiculoso goes into AWL's annual Purge event, right? The Purge that they have for the hardcore championship Purge scramble, right? You know, and I win it. You know, I go in as champion, and I'm the only guy in the history of this event in the last 8 years, because they do it every year because it's annual, right? Right. I'm the only guy that's gone in with that title and left with that title. So that's 1 out of 8. I'm the 1 out of 8 that's done that, right? So that's and then I win. And here's the thing about the AWL Hardcore Championship: it's 24 hours a day. It's 24 title. You know, it's always on the line, because if you're not hardcore, then you don't live hardcore. And if you fight, you got to fight hardcore, and hardcore is all the time, right? I'm a hardcore fish in this big old pond, you know.
Right.
You know? And I go there, and this freaking guy, after I win the Purge, I open the curtain, and what do I see? I'm blinded. Lights, it's shine in my eye. Can't see anything. Why? Because this giant bald head is sitting right here, shining light in my freaking eyes, and I can't say shit. And then what do I feel? I feel a fist hitting my mouth. That's the thing about these bald dudes in the bald line. They use it as a freaking weapon, man. They're letting the light, they shine that shit. They're in the back. I was wondering where all the baby oil came from, and did he know that he was in there? He was just shining his little head up, just lubing it up. And then the light hits it, boom, blast in the eyes, punch in the face, thrown into a pool. One of the sickest pile drivers, man. He dropped me on my head. He hit me, boom, pile driver. And 1, 2, 3. After I just went through a hardcore purge. A purge. And this guy, boom, this fucking guy with his bald head, and he, boom, pile driver, almost breaks my neck, takes the hardcore title from me. The hardcore title. This guy wants to be hardcore. And why is he mad at me? Why? Because I'm Ridiculoso. And Ridiculoso is making fun of the sport. No, I'm the king of these streets. DeVito, I got this. I'm hardcore now. You know? How am I preparing for this mentally? I'm not. What mentality do you think I have up here? It's ridiculous. I'm from a place you wouldn't understand, man. Nick Gage, Mr. MGK over here, Mr. MGK. Listen here, Machine Gun Kelly. All right. You know my accent. That makes it all seem complicated, Nick Gage. All right, MGK all day, brother. Right? He's gonna. You know what, man? I like Domino's Pizza, and I know Domino's Pizza does not like Nick Gage. Right? Yeah. And you give me a pizza cutter. Yeah, I'll pizza cut you up, buddy. And when I say that from a great distance and far away, not looking into your face, not seeing you eye to eye, when I'm big and ballsy. When I see you in the face and I see you eye to eye, you know what I'm going to do? Not fucking talk like this, that's for damn sure. And I'm going to stand back. I'm going to take 2 steps back. I'm going to be like, you should punch Tony DeVito. And I'm going to stand directly behind Tony DeVito while Nick Gage is beating him up. That's my strategy. That's my mentality. You know what I'm also going to do? From outside the ring, fucking throw shit at fucking Nick Gage so he can hit Tony DeVito. That's my mentality. You know what else I'm going to do? Fucking not talk about MGK to Nick Gage. But I'll do it here, and I'll do it now. I got this. I'm taking back my hardcore title. You want to get on my level? I'm going to get to the one above you, below you, side of you, and next to you. I got this. I'm from a place you wouldn't understand. I've seen things that you only read about in books and tried to do one time in a Vice City game. I got this, you crazy bastards.
They're some of the two craziest bastards I've ever seen do this shit.
They really freaking are, man. So, my mentality is similar to that of a scared man that will use that fuel or that fear to fuel me and try and make it out alive. Because sometimes in life, you just gotta try.
Yeah. Some of the
or you die trying. You know, it could happen.
Yeah. Yep. So also, I'd like to add, Jose has been on the chat, so he has some questions for you. First of all, Jose says you're his favorite ALW wrestler. So let's.
Hey!
And he says, one question: where do you get your charisma? He said that you're like a walking animation. Where do you get?
You know, it's because it's what I do is I spend time with my family. You know what I'm saying? And they'll bring you up, man, because sometimes when you're getting knocked down, you got to get back up again. And charisma. You know what, man? I don't know where it goes. It's just me. This is just me. This is what I do. This is who I am. You know, I could say I had some good trainers. I could say that I was I mean, you know, I've never had anybody that's taken the time out of their day to show you something to do. You gotta at least say thank you for, you know, even if you think that they're not cut out to be a trainer. They're still trying, and you got to take, you know, I'm sure there's been times in my life when I was helping teach people how to do things, and I'm pretty sure they were like, they're just not training or material. But if you're taking time out of your day, you just gotta say thank you at the end of it, and so thank you. And I've always had phenomenal people because no one I've ever met that's taken time to show me how to do things haven't told me a right way of doing things. Where does the charisma come from? Just because I'm freaking awesome. I don't know. I got this. I've lived a troubled life, I guess, and this is just a coping mechanism. Really, just a severe trauma-induced coping mechanism that I've learned to develop over time. Awesome. Or I'm just an emotional Gemini.
Makes sense, man. Makes sense. How long you been into business, and how long do you plan on going further into the business? How long do you think you're going to be?
Well, the sheer math of it all, the numbers, if you add them up, would be February of 2009 to now. Consistently, even when I've been injured and with broken ribs and a broken arm, I still wrestled, or at least participated in events. When I broke my ribs, I was still hosting events and commentating on them. When I broke my arm, I still wrestled in battle royals and tag matches. So yeah, I've never stopped wrestling for 16 years. Now, admittedly, I don't go as hard as I originally did, you know, once or twice a month pretty much now. For a very long time, though, it was, you know, 2 times a week, sometimes 3 times a week. Yeah, it was very consistent there for a while, but now I'm in Florida, and Florida's a different belly of a beast. You know, there's and financially in my life, I'm old now and I have a family to support, so life's different than it was, you know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago for me, which as it should be when you start getting to the age I'm getting at, that, you know. How long do I think I will continue wrestling? Because it's been 16 years. Never going to stop. when they tell me that I physically can't do it anymore is when I will do my best to get involved behind the scenes or transition to some other position. Um, but I don't ever see me not being involved in the professional wrestling business or industry. It's what I've done for the almost entirety of my adult life. I love it on a deep level. It is a part of me. It is what I want to do in life. It is what brings me the most amount of happiness next to my wife and my daughter. So I will never stop or never not be involved. What is the next step of what I would like to do is the real question. We all got goals, hopes, and ambitions and dreams. Uh, the team I'm with right now, the mind behind it, the crew behind it, the structure of it is very commendable. And as long as the company I'm with right now is in business, I would like to always be with them. Uh, Whatever facet form that I can be involved in, as long as I'm physically able to do whatever it is. If I'm physically able to do it in the ring, I want to be in the ring. But if I can't do it in the ring anymore, I would hope that there's other opportunities that present themselves to me. But been at it for 16 years and never gonna stop.
Awesome. I got some kids questions before we have you close the show. So real quick, kids question. I work with. Like I said, I'm a foster parent. So they want to know what El Ridiculoso's favorite food is.
El Ridiculoso's favorite food incarnation. I'm gonna tell you this. Uh, Pizza. There's some intricacies to it. All right, it's not just dough. So there's some and the right kind. You know, it's an art. The doing it in a on like a gourmet level, like that's a whole other side thing. But you get into like some real good Neapolitan style pizzas, man. Some wood fire ones and stuff like that. So, I will say pizza as my favorites because it's actually pretty healthy if you make it right with the right ingredients.
Does pineapple go on your pizza?
It depends. Depends on what else is on the pizza and depends on how it's made, man. It can be done right.
Any hobbies?
Hobbies, I like to draw. I was originally going to school for media arts and animation, so I like to draw like cartoons and stuff. Um, that was what I was doing before I started wrestling.
Okay.
So yeah, I like to do that in my free time. My wife is also an artist, and she does collage works and makes earrings and stuff like that. And she sells them at art shows and exhibits here locally in the area. She was doing it online for a while. She goes to these little venues. She has a booth set up. She's on display in 3 different places down here. So we like to sit around and draw and make collages sometimes.
Awesome. Mount Rushmore of wrestlers.
Ooh, so that's a hard one because like I can't think because when people ask me like my favorite movie and stuff, like I also studied film and video production for a long time too. It's hard to narrow down like a top 5, but I can give you like a top 5 of every genre. So like I got like a top 5 comedy, I got like a top 5 technical, I got like a top 5 workers. Because what really constitutes a good professional wrestler? If you're gonna are you gonna base it off money? Right? You're gonna base off who drew the most money and the most
Favorite
amount of
worker.
towns. Is
Favorite
that what
worker.
makes a wrestler great? All right, or are you going off of in-ring work? Or are you going to go off of entertainment value? Or are you going to go off of comedy? Because like I said earlier, it's a buffet. It can't all be fried chicken, right? Like,
All right, so
some people over here like to make the burgers. Some people over here are doing the tacos. Now I want to go to Golden Corral.
let's break it down to 2
Uh,
then.
uh,
Favorite top. Okay, Mount Rushmore of promos
okay.
and
Let's
Mount
do that one first
Rushmore of
before we get
technical.
sidetracked because I can't do 2 topics at once.
Okay.
I'm living. Okay. So Mount Rushmore promos. I will say just because they got inducted into the Hall of Fame this way, I'm going to go ahead and say I can do it this way on this. I'm going to say the collective unit of the 4 Horsemen.
Okay.
All right, for a promo. Paul Heyman.
Okay.
Mick Foley.
Okay.
How many people on Mount Rushmore? 4 or 5? 4. All right. So Mick Foley, Paul Heyman, 4 Horsemen. I'm going to go with CM Punk. I know it's like a trendy topical one, but you look at promos in the past 20 years. Now, if we're going old school, again, everything has a subcategory to it. Now, if we're going to go more old school, I feel Terry Funk needs to go on the promo list. Or But if we're going more modern day, yeah, I gotta say CM Punk because there's just like a natural ability to just act like he's talking when he's really feeding you some BS. So that's a hard one. I mean, even if we're going on today, yeah. So those are gonna be my four with a CM Punk who could be alternated out for a Terry Funk
Okay.
because they
Awesome.
rhyme. I think I can do it that way.
There you go. So Jose wants to know one last question from Jose. Favorite meal before the night of the event?
Favorite meal before my night of what?
Of your event for like on the 21st, what would you eat?
Oh, what do I eat before I go wrestle?
Yeah, what's your favorite?
7-Eleven taquitos.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's interesting, man. That's, but you got this. You got this. Um, so let's talk about one more topic. What is the most memorable fan interaction that you've over the years?
So I met my wife through wrestling as a fan interaction. So that's super memorable. Um, there's some people in Detroit right now that are doing some really awesome things, right? There's this lady, there's someone out there named Summer. So if you're in Detroit and you know who Summer is, uh, when she was a fan, at a fan interaction thing, she gave me. I used to come to the ring with this big gold R, right? It broke. I haven't gotten a new one since, but I used to come to the ring with big gold R's. So I'd hold up these gold R's, and they gave me one that they made that was like pink, and I still have it to this day because Summer has been doing like interviews with CNN, like she's been helping a lot backstage at places, so I still have that to this day. And when they're super famous, I'm gonna be like, "You made this for me, you dumbass."
Yeah.
And then there's another guy out there named Xander,
Okay.
who him and his grandma used to come to local shows all the time, right? And that's how I met this kid. And he is now an accomplished indie wrestler the Detroit area right now too. Um, so those are and you know we joked like yeah no so he's I can't even go into it all like but just seeing that those like I don't want to be egotistical but it's cool that people that called you their favorite wrestler or fan, or a big fan of you, uh, are now also wrestling, which makes me feel like I somehow inspired them to feel like they can do that,
Yeah.
which is awesome. When I trained with Brian Kendrick, one of the assignments he would have when we first joined the school was you got to come up with your favorite wrestler you had as a kid, the one that got you interested in wrestling, your favorite wrestler today that you can mess around with, and then the wrestler that made you believe you could do this. Um, so if I was the guy that made you all believe that you could do this, that is awesome. Because you can, and you have been. So we got this is a true motto because like the only people that don't succeed are the people that don't try. You can if as long as you can try and fail, but that's still more than 70 or 80% of people do. So that's all. Those fan interactions and meeting my wife.
Awesome, man. One last question regards to where we can see you next. Will you be at conventions this year, 2025? What's next for El Ridiculoso?
I will be anywhere that will take me. Like I said, I'm a dad now, and time away from my kid is something that I value a little bit more than I did as when I was younger. Um, and also, I'm just in a different financial situation, so getting to places and just being able to just go to them is not something at my age with my financial responsibilities and the family I have. It's not something I'm able to do anymore. Um, so for that reason, I don't do as much as I used to because I used to always be somewhere. Um, Now, like when my wife has her little event, when my wife does her events, and she we do our deals together, and if she is gracious enough to have me with her, I'll be there helping sell some merch there. Um, I'm anywhere and everywhere that will have me. Uh, I want to be every place that I can be. There's places I want to go to. Um, I just got to make I got to make the time to make it happen. So I know the next place you can find me is going to be February 21st at the Space Coast Convention Center for ALW's awesome 8-year event, in which I will reclaim my hardcore championship for a 4th time and defeat the ECW legend of the Bald Line's own Tony DeVito by I believe just drawing hair on his head, which I think is how you'll defeat him. I think if you just put hair on his head, he has to lose. You know? And then I will be avoiding the fuck out of Nick Gage on that day as well. And I will not be David Arquette. But it'll be a scream, baby.
But so you mentioned the guy's name, so I'm going to give you the answer. But on TikTok, the question was, who was the who's the most famous WCW champion ever?
Most famous WCW champion ever?
Yeah.
The most famous WCW champion?
Yeah, man.
Would be Ric Flair.
David Arquette. You just said it.
Oh, David Arquette. Oh, right. Oh my God. I thought it was. No, you're right, bro. You're actually right on that. Yeah. No, I'm with you. Took me a minute. Picked up. It could be good. I'm picking up where you're laying down now. My bad. That went over. Not many people go over my head, but you did on that one. Yes, David Arquette. The man who got shunned and snubbed from the Oscars for the Ready to Rumble that he should have won.
So, man, it's been a good hour with you, man. El Ridiculoso, I appreciate you coming on the show. Don't go anywhere. I want to talk to you after the show goes off, so don't get off the thing. But
I will not, sir.
Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast is thankful for everybody that went down the road. I mean, we started up here with Lonely Girl, Jose Martinez, Melendez. Sorry, I'm going to get that name wrong. Trag. I thank everybody for joining in. I thank the people that gave me questions. Jose, I thank you. You guys are amazing people. Don't forget to hit the follow button on the YouTube channel. Help El Ridiculoso the same way. Follow my Facebook and YouTube. Do all that. Pray for him this on the 21st of February as he tries to avoid Nick Gage. I don't know how the hell.
As I soundly defeat Nick Gage. Soundly defeat.
I don't know how you're going to do that.
Neither do I.
I'd be running too. That guy seems like a man not to mess with, but
he seems very angry. Very angry man.
Pretty much, yes. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate everybody stopping in. And this is exactly what I say all the time: is we are Huge Pop Wrestling for life.